The Galactic Council had abandoned the Virathi long before Orla ever heard their name. She stood in the observation deck of the UNSC Defiance, watching the dying world through reinforced glass. The planet below was a patchwork of scorched earth and flickering energy shields, the last desperate defenses of a species fighting extinction. Around the planet, Kryn warships moved like sharks circling wounded prey, their weapons charging for another bombardment. "They've been asking for help for 3 cycles," Harry said, stepping beside her. The tactical officer's face was grim, his datapad displaying intercept logs. Every major power in the galaxy received their distress calls. The Xanthari, the Colaxians, even the Merchant Collective. No one answered. "Why?" Orla asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "The Virathi have nothing to offer. No strategic resources, no military strength, no trade leverage." Harry's jaw tightened. The Council's official position is non-interference in regional conflicts. Unofficial position? They're not worth saving. Orla felt something cold settle in her chest. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 15 years ago, still considered newcomers, still proving themselves. The smart move would be to follow the Council's lead, to learn from the established powers how galactic politics worked. The smart move would be to do nothing. "Get me a channel to Captain Rodriguez," Orla said quietly. Harry didn't argue. He'd served with her long enough to recognize that tone. 20 minutes later, the Defiance broke formation with the human patrol fleet and accelerated toward the Kryn blockade. 4 other ships followed, volunteers, every one of them. The crew knew what they were doing. They knew Earth Command would probably court-martial them for this. They came anyway. "Kryn vessels, this is Commander Orla Chen of the United Nations Space Command," she transmitted on open channels. "You are ordered to cease hostilities and withdraw from Virathi space immediately." The response came in the form of harsh, clicking laughter. The Kryn commander's translation crackled through. "Humans. The Council's newest pets. Go home, mammals. This doesn't concern you." "I'm making it concern us," Orla replied. "You have 2 minutes to power down your weapons, or what? Your 5 ships against our fleet of 30? More clicking laughter. Your species is even more foolish than we believed. The Virathi are finished. No one cares about them. No one will care about you either when we—" 1 minute 30 seconds, Orla interrupted. Harry was beside her again, this time at the weapons console. "Orla, even if we win this fight, and that's a big if, Earth Command will disavow us. The Council will condemn us for unauthorized military action. We could start a diplomatic incident. I know. The Virathi might not even survive. We might die for nothing. I know that too." Harry studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. "All ships report ready for combat. Weapons hot, shields at maximum." The channel to the Kryn remained open. Orla watched the countdown timer in her head. 30 seconds. The Kryn had been raiding the Virathi for months, taking their resources, their people, their hope. The galaxy had watched and done nothing because the Virathi couldn't offer anything in return. Because mercy wasn't profitable. Because compassion didn't fit into the cost-benefit analysis of interstellar politics. 10 seconds. Maybe humanity was too new to understand how things worked out here. Maybe they were too idealistic, too emotional, too willing to fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves, or maybe, just maybe, the galaxy had forgotten something important. "Time's up," Orla said. "All ships engage." The battle was brutal and brief. The Kryn had numbers, but humanity had something the galaxy hadn't seen in a long time. Warriors who fought not for territory or resources, but because it was right. The Defiance took 3 direct hits that nearly breached the hull. The destroyer Valiant lost engines and went into emergency drift, but one by one the Kryn warships fell back, then retreated, then fled. They hadn't expected resistance. They certainly hadn't expected humans to fight this fiercely for aliens they'd never met. When the last Kryn vessel jumped to hyperspace, the comm channels erupted. "Human ships, this is Virathi Central Command." The voice was unlike anything Orla had heard, melodic and strange, layered with harmonics that suggested multiple vocal cords. We do not understand. Why would you risk yourselves for us?" Orla looked at Harry, at the exhausted crew around her, at the damage reports scrolling across her screens. They'd violated orders. They'd probably ended their careers. They might have started a war. "Because someone should have," she said simply. "Because you asked for help and no one came. Because we're human and we don't leave people to die alone. Silence on the channel. Then, "Your species is either very brave or very foolish." "We're both," Harry muttered, and despite everything, Orla smiled. "We're sending coordinates for emergency shelters," she transmitted. "Medical teams, supplies, and defensive equipment. We'll stay until you're secure. The Council will punish you for this. Probably." Another pause. Then, "Humanity is as foolish as you are brave, and we are forever grateful for such foolishness." 3 weeks later, Orla stood before the Galactic Council, facing formal censure for her actions. The chamber was filled with representatives from 100 species, most of them angry that humans had disrupted the established order. But in the back of the chamber stood a delegation of Veyrathi, alive because 5 human ships had refused to look away. "The Council finds your actions reckless and unauthorized," the Zinthari Arbiter declared. "You violated established protocols of non-interference. You risked creating a larger conflict. You acted without authority from your own government." "Yes," Orla said. "We did. What do you have to say for yourself?" Orla looked at the Veyrathi delegation. One of them, a being whose name she'd learned was Kirinth, met her eyes and placed a hand over their chest in what she'd learned was their gesture of respect. "I'd do it again," she said. The chamber erupted in outrage. But scattered through the crowd, Orla saw something else. Faces from species she didn't know looking at humanity with something that might have been respect. Or perhaps recognition of something they'd forgotten. Harry caught her eye from the observer section and gave her the slightest nod. Maybe humanity was too young to know better. Maybe they were too stubborn to learn. But when the Veyrathi had cried out in the darkness when the galaxy had turned away, humans had stood their ground. And the galaxy would remember that.